Broadcasting from the Cottage Studio. Welcome to the movie review. I'm your host, Ho Ho. How y'all's doing? I hope you're doing good. I really do. So today's episode, we're going to be talking Top Gun. Holy crap, we're talking the original back from 1986, and we're talking the new one, Top Gun Maverick, released just this year, 2022. And boy, howdy, was it a long time waiting. But let's just go ahead and start off with the first one, the original Top Gun, starring all kinds of people. Dude, I tell you what, Top Gun really did have an all-star cast, boy, howdy. I mean, we're talking, well, let's see. I'm on the wrong Wikipedia page. Holy cow. Where's it at? Cast. There we go. That's like down here. Cast. Yeah, we're talking Tom Cruise. We're talking Kelly McGinnis as Charlie. We're talking Val Kilmer as Iceman. Anthony Edwards as Goose. Tom Skerritt as Viper. And let's see, there's some other ones in here. Michael Ironside as Jester. Yeah, just all kinds of actors in here. It really was an all-star cast. I mean, there was even people in here from the Reading Rainbow, Star Trek, that guy was in there. I don't remember what his name is. I don't remember. But there it is. James Tolkien. He was in, Geordie LaForge, USS Enterprise. So, yeah, that was him. Meg Ryan played Goose's wife. Yeah, really was an all-star cast. It really was. And I tell you what, one of the things that's awesome about Top Gun, it is one of the most quoted movies in my repertoire. I don't know about all y'all's, but in mine, there are just so many times that, different one-liners just happens to make it. Kicking the tires and lighting the fires. I'm feeling the need for speed. You're talking, communicating. Giving people the bird, yes, I know the finger goose. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I hate it whenever it does that. The flyby. I've even used one-liners from that movie, passing wide loads in the semi in my big truck. Even do that, This is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby. And I have had, the negative Ghost Rider, the pattern is full. I've even had... I've even had an affirmative Ghost Rider. The pattern is clear. Come on around. I've had both happen to me. So, I've used the one-liners from it. Now, one of the things that I thought was pretty entertaining. Now, I have absolutely no idea if this little anecdote is true, but from the actual Top Gun Academy, because it is an actual academy, it is a real thing, dogfighting, pilot school, pilot training, what have you, that if you use one-liners from that movie, apparently they don't like it. Apparently you get PT'd, like a lot, like badly. Now, I don't know. I've never had this information confirmed, but that's just one of the things that I've heard. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised, especially considering we are talking about a Top Gun school. We are talking about a highly quoted Top Gun movie. This movie is a pretty well-known movie. Now, let's talk about some of the actual facts regarding this movie. Now, this sucker was released, back in 1986. And it was, the budget for it was $15 million. Okay. Now, after the original theatrical release, the original box office release, and the IMAX 3D re-release back in 2013 for 6 days, and the re-release from AMC theaters on 153 screens back in 2021 for a 10-day period, it grossed a total of $357.3 million worldwide. So it actually did well. It did well. I don't know exactly where it rated on there. I don't think it was in the top 100, but that's just box office release. That's not talking DVD releases. That's not talking, the different times that it was available for free on various streaming platforms. This is just box office release. That is it. Just box office release. That's pretty awesome. Okay. That is pretty stinking awesome. Now, there's not really a whole heck of a lot about the actual, movie that I'm wanting to get into on this one. For the majority of this one is going to be, talking about Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. Now, here's the thing. Okay. Like I said, Maverick was a long time in the making. It was a long time coming. It took 36 years from the original for the sequel to get released. And it was originally announced that it was going into development in 2012 by Paramount Pictures. Tom Cruise was directly involved with that, along with producer Jerry Bruckheimer. Yep, I think I'm saying that right. And then director Tim Scott. Whenever Tim Scott died after writing the draft of the screenplay back in 2012, he died later that same year in 2012. And the movie went on hold until looks like 2017. They got a director, principal photography, but it was delayed again. And then and this is what's actually kind of cool. All right. The principal photography, which involved the use of IMAX certified 6K full frame cameras, took place from May of 2018 to April of 2019 in California, Washington, and Maryland. All right, so it looks like that they got done filming Maverick sometime in April of 2019. It was originally scheduled to be released July 12th of 2019, but they had setbacks and delays. And now here's the thing. COVID struck, sometime between, January and March. That's whenever COVID was really hitting the stage and the lockdown started happening. And it wasn't officially released until May of 2020. I'm sorry, 2022 is when it was, finally released. And it was only like the second motion picture new movie that was released post-pandemic. I did read that somewhere in this Wikipedia page. I read that somewhere. All right. Now, but setback after setback. Now, here's the thing now, okay? We didn't even see much in the way of trailers on this one until really this year, okay? So all of 2020, all of 2021, we really didn't see a whole heck of a lot in the way of trailers on this. We see some flashbacks. We've seen, very nuanced trailers, but nothing that really had actual footage that looked like it was even shot for the new movie. A lot of it could have been just either extra footage from the original movie or actual clips from the original. Okay. Now that was a thing that was kind of frustrating, but it was done for the sake of keeping and boosting the hype of this movie, which in all honesty, after watching it, was very well worth it. Dude, this movie was wow. Okay. This movie was budgeted for $170 million. That's what the budget was. I don't know what they actually spent. It doesn't really say that. It just says budget, $170 million. But this thing, box office, okay, and I'm assuming this is global box office, $1.423 billion. Just over $1.4 billion is what this puppy grossed. That is a lot. Now, this sucker didn't make the top 10 list of highest grossing films worldwide, but it did come in at a very respectable 12th place highest budgeting film, or I'm sorry, highest grossed film. Holy crap. That's a lot of dollars. That is a lot of dollars. Now here's the thing. I don't know when they actually got done with the, editing and whatnot, and the film was actually ready. I really don't know. I'm really not sure. But with some of the stuff that I heard revolving around, how this was actually filmed. Okay. Now here's the amazing part about this. Now I don't know exactly how they did it in the original. I don't know. But I'm assuming they did it like any other, pilot flight type of a movie. I mean, you're basically behind a green screen, in a setup thing that was done. You may have some actual, plane footage of planes flying and whatnot, but it's not the actors that are actually in it doing those. Well, definitely not doing the maneuvers, but not even in the plane. They're safely on the ground in front of a green screen or what have you. That's the magic of Hollywood. That's how things are kind of done. And my assumption is that's how it was done in the original Top Gun back in 1986. However, when it came to the filming of Top Gun Maverick, they wanted to take a more authentic approach. So what they did is they retrofitted some of these planes. They retrofitted them with these IMAX 6K cameras and put the actors right in the freaking plane, making it look like they are the pilots. Now, obviously, they weren't piloting the plane. They left that to the professionals, but they were still in the plane. They were still pulling those maneuvers. Their bodies was still taking the force of the G's that they were doing. And if you've seen this movie, holy crap, we know that you did. You're here. Spoiler alert, by the way. Maybe I should have said that earlier. Anyway, they're pulling some G's. And I am sure that these pilots were having a heck of a fun time, just trying to just destroy these different actors that dared get in a plane with them. I mean, holy cow. Can you imagine the amount of abuse that these pilots actually put these actors through? Holy cow. But each and every one of them had to go through pilot school. They were in the planes. They had to get used to the G-force. I mean, there was a lot of training that they went through just to be in the movie. They put their bodies through hell. I mean, holy crap. I give it to these actors that did this. I really do. There's no way that could be easy. Can't be easy. The abuse that your body's going through pulling them kind of G's. Holy crap. I mean, holy cow. And there's only like one of them that seemed like they really, really, really enjoyed it, maybe even a little too much. And that was Tom Cruise. I remember hearing that. As far as any other actors goes, I have no idea. But from what I had heard from different articles that I've read, he had a blast. He had fun. Now, one of the things that they did say in the filming of this movie was, yes, it was unique on how they did it. Yes, it was kind of a pain in the butt. Yeah, it was even a little expensive. They'll probably never be able to do it again. And if they were able to do it again, they probably still wouldn't do it because how big of a pain in the butt it was. I'm sure that it'll never end up happening again. But here's the thing now. Now we're going to go back a little bit to the original Top Gun movie. Okay. Now here's the thing with Top Gun. This sucker was culturally just a part of it. It was just culturally it. All right. Now, whenever I read this, I was like, I had no idea. Now let me go ahead and find it right quick. I know it's in here. But let me go ahead and find it. Okay, so here we go. No, wait, that's something different. That's something different. Here we go. The influence. Film producer John Davis said that Top Gun was a recruiting video for the Navy. The people saw the movie and said, wow, I want to be a pilot. The Navy had recruitment booths in some theaters to attract authentic patrons. After the film's release, the U.S. Navy stated that the number of young men who joined wanting to be naval aviators went up by 500%. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's funny. AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movie Quotes. Number 94 is I Feel the Need for Speed. Now, there's also another, interesting thing in here that I remember seeing. I'm just trying to find it. I don't even remember what it was talking about now. Holy crap. Oh, yeah, some of the critically responses of this movie. And there's some things in here that, but it was actually nominated for something with the government, actually like putting this in the Congress, like as a protected, culturally, significant movie. I know I read that in here. I don't see it right now. Maybe it's in here somewhere else. Yep, I don't see it. Yep, nope. I don't see it. Nope. Okay, let me scroll on back to the top a little bit because, it's got to be in here somewhere. Filming, music, theater, home media, IMAX, box office, critically response, whatever. I don't see it. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. But anyway, what they went through in that movie, amazing. What they had to go through. Now here's the thing too, okay? Now, like I was saying earlier, I don't know how much or, how long it actually took, but based off of that, okay, with how they did the filming of it, I have no doubt that it took them a significant amount of time to actually go through the editing process and get the best clips that they could to tell the story they were wanting to tell. I have no doubt that took them a while, okay? And it was, I don't know exactly when it was finally done, and I don't think it was done at any time before COVID's. I really don't. For the simple fact is we don't have a lot of trailers that was released pre-COVID's, okay? We don't have a lot. And like I said, the stuff that we did see, it's like, it could have easily been from the original movie. It could easily be from, extra footage that they still had of the original. Nothing in there screamed, this is the new one. Okay, nothing in there screamed that. Now, I mean, there could be some things that I missed. The planes that were obviously not the original F-14s, which, I don't know, maybe. I mean, that's possible. I might have missed that, but at any rate, they refused to release the movie during the pandemic to streaming services. They absolutely refused to do it. And according to this article, that one of the people that was directly involved in that was who's his face? That guy, Tom Cruise. Okay. Now here's the thing. I don't know exactly how much Tom Cruise had, how much of a hand he had in it waiting to be released to theaters post-pandemic. And how much of this was Paramount basically just, no, we're not doing it. Because here's the thing. With the movie costing what it cost, $170 million, with the hype that they had already started forming around this movie, the fan base that it was already getting, there was no way that they would have grossed near that amount if they would have released it to a streaming service. Don't believe me? Let's think about this for a second. Whenever you go to theaters, let me start off by talking about streaming services, okay? Have you ever been to a Super Bowl party? You're talking 10, 15, 20 people having a Super Bowl party, but only one purchase was made to watch it, but 20 people that actually were physically there. You're talking a big pay-per-view event, you know, the like UFC. Big event, a lot of people showing up, only one purchase was made. WrestleMania, same thing. One purchase made, multiple people showing up. Let's just take a guess, you know, the maybe 10 people show up for each of these events, okay? They're missing out on all of that added revenue of people buying tickets whenever these type of things happen. The bigger the name, the more people are going to be showing up to a single event. Just kind of how things like that happen, you know? And with the amount of hype, with the amount of response, social media and otherwise, that Maverick was getting, I have no doubt that they waited until post-pandemic to release this movie because they know darn good and well that they never would have seen that kind of money if they would have done it any other way. Because when you're talking going to theaters and seeing something, you do not get in on your friends' coattails. You do not get in on your family's coattails. You got one seat, you got one ticket. That's how it's tallied. That's how it's done. All the ticket sales go together like that. So it's no wonder that they wanted to wait until after the pandemic to go ahead and release this movie. And it obviously paid off, ranking number 12 in highest grossing movies of all time. That is a wow. $1.4 billion worldwide. Wow. I mean, simply, wow. And the movie was amazing. Here's one of the things, okay, like a good, bad thing in the movie, okay? The movie was great, don't get me wrong. The movie was awesome, but there is something about it that actually kind of like was slightly irritating to me. Now, in a matter of speaking, I understand why they did it, but in a matter of speaking as well, you know, like on one hand, it's like, I get why they did it, but on the other hand, it's like, why? Okay. Because they put a lot of flashbacks into it. 36 years later, I get it. Okay. I get it. Because you want this to also be geared. Okay. Well, you want to gear it to two different people. You want to gear it to the people whom seen the original, but you also want to gear it to the people whom have not seen the original. You know, a fresh crowd that may not have ever seen it. I mean, here's my thing. You know, anytime I'm watching a sequel, I make darn sure that I've seen the prequel. You know, so if I'm watching a part 2 to something, it makes no sense to watch a part 2 unless I've seen a part 1. I find that lazy that they put that many flashbacks in Maverick. But again, I understand why they did it. And even though they put quite a few in there, they did it tactfully. You know, I mean, it wasn't like a full-on, you know, flashback type of a thing, as in they're playing out a scene with the audio and everything else, and they're doing it in such a way that it's like, yes, this is a flashback. But it was more of a, you know, a small clip that was being played with a musical background just to kind of, you know, refresh people's memories who may not have seen it before, and to provide more context to those who have never seen it to what's going on. So, I mean, even though it was slightly irritating that they put that many flashbacks in the movie, it was still very understandable why they did it. And the way that they did it was very well done. You know, that's an aspect of I have no complaints. You know, they did a phenomenal job with that part of it. You know, it was very, very well done. Now, here's the other thing now. I actually kind of expected more people from the original to be in the remake. And in all honesty, there was only 2 people from the original that was in Maverick. And that is Tom Cruise, reprising the role of Maverick, and also Val Kilmer, reprising the role of Iceman. And that was an amazing exchange. That really was. Whenever that finally took place, that conversation between the two, and I mean, you really, there was something in that scene. It was absolutely amazing. And the neat thing was, Tom Cruise had, a big hand in the editing process of that scene, and probably quite a bit more of the movie too. He had a pretty big hand in it. So he knew how that scene was going to play out. And as I heard the story, okay, Tom Cruise, and I think the director as well, once they got that scene done, ironed out, they knew how they were going to do it. I don't know if they presented him the entire movie to have him watch it and get his take on it, but they definitely, shown him in person that scene between Val Kilmer and Maverick. Like, this is what we did with it. And I guess the response was just amazing. I mean, it was very, very cool, and I tell you what, you've seen the movie, you know how they did it, the back and forth, the heart that was behind what was going on, because I mean, let's face it, movie-wise goes, this was a very emotional exchange between the two, revolving Goose, whom died during the first one, and Goose's son, Rooster, talking about that whole thing. So, I mean, you're talking like a huge emotional drama undertone in here. Very, very well done, especially considering Val Kilmer's going through his own stuff, and so is the character, obviously, because they had to explain, Val Kilmer not talking for, somehow, So you're talking a lot of stuff going on, and it was really, really well done. Val Kilmer just loved it. Of course, Tom Cruise thought it was amazing too. Now, here's the thing. Let's go ahead and move on from that, because there's one other thing before we take off that I want to talk about regarding Top Gun, okay? Now, here's the thing, okay? Would I love to see another one? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to see a third movie. But here's the thing. What I would much rather see than a part 3, a sequel to Maverick, what I would love to see would be a prequel to Top Gun. That's what I would love to see. Have Maverick hold the role and hold the position as part 3, the magical send-off. I think that would be very, very fitting. And what I would love to see them do in a prequel would be to talk about Maverick's dad and what happened there. Now we're going to go back into the Wayback Machine, back to 1986. And the only thing that we know about Maverick's dad happens between a conversation between Maverick and Viper. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about because I got to read this because I don't, 100% remember, but looking at the plot, okay. Oh, nope, I'm on the wrong stinking movie. It would help if I go to the right one. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and read this entire paragraph. It's not very long. It's only 3 lines, but here we go. The Board of Inquiry clears Maverick of any wrongdoings, but he is shaken and guilt-ridden and considers quitting. And this is over the death of Goose, his co-pilot. Okay. He considers quitting. He seeks advice from Viper, who flew with Maverick's father in the Vietnam War era air battle where he was killed. Contrary to official reports faulting Mitchell, Maverick's dad, Viper says that he died heroically. That's all it says on here. Now, I remember most of that conversation in the movie, and more or less what it amounts to is, all Maverick knows growing up is what the official story was, is that his dad messed up. His dad did something wrong. And basically what Viper said was, hey, look, everything I'm about to tell you is top secret. I could be put in prison. I could lose my job, the whole 9 yards. But no, your dad did not mess up. Your dad did it right. He did it right. That's all it really says. So they have a lot of wiggle room in this story. I mean, you're talking an all new cast. And the only things that they're really glued down to is that Maverick's dad gets shot down and Viper escapes in that air battle, in that dogfight. It's the only thing that they're ironing down to. That's it. Those two characters, one lives and is able to leave. The other one is shot down, but we don't know his fate. Doesn't really say that in the movie. I don't know if his remains was ever returned. Don't know. Don't know if it was a confirmed kill. Don't know if he was captured and died in a POW camp. We don't know. They have a lot of wiggle room to do whatever they want to do on that. I think that would be an amazing movie to go, and especially whenever you take into consideration, how they filmed the original, how they filmed Maverick. It's going to be so much easier to film a prequel with older planes that aren't doing the maneuvering that what was in the Maverick. I mean, holy cow. Okay. So they got a lot more, they got a lot more wiggle room than what maybe some people may think as far as the storyline goes. But a prequel revolving around what happened to Maverick's dad, I think would be an awesome direction to go. Instead of doing a sequel after Maverick, let's do a prequel before Top Gun. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. So guys, that's really all I got for you today. That is it. That is it. This is the first episode of the coming back of the movie review. I need to come up with better whatever on that. I mean, that was a fail. That was an epic fail. Holy crap. Man. So I will see y'all next time. Thank you for stopping by. Take care. Thank you for listening to the Black Mirror Podcast. If you would like to join the conversation, you can comment on this episode at Spreaker.com or go to thehohoshow.com/. So that was not the outro that was supposed to be getting played. Let's try that again. Oh, holy crap, here we go.